Hello and welcome back to A Better World. This is your host, Mitchell J. Rabin, and we're very glad you're joining us again today. Today we're going to have another very interesting show. We have with us in the studio Robert Peng. Robert is a healer from China who has been doing some rather extraordinary work through Qi-Gong and hands-on healing for many, many years. Robert has worked with some of the highest officials in China, in the Chinese government, as well as the former Prime Minister of Australia, Bob Hawke, who he helped his daughter through some very serious illnesses. So Robert has been around, you could say, having trained many thousands upon thousands of people in healing techniques and in Qigong. I mean, just to give you an idea, over 150,000 people in China itself and over 10,000 in Australia. Well, we're very fortunate to have Robert in New York City at this point in time, and is now beginning to teach an increasing number of Americans these ancient techniques that are time-proven, have been around for thousands of years, and come to Robert from his teacher, his master, who he'll be speaking with us about to some extent, and the training that he himself went through to reach and attain this level of mastership and practice that he is now realizing in his practice on the Upper East Side of New York. So we're very glad to have Robert with us, and we'll be opening up, you could say, an entire treasure chest of knowledge and wisdom that has been around in ancient civilizations from the East that honestly few in the West actually know about. It's beyond our ordinary conception, beyond our ordinary thinking, which is why it's really such a pleasure and joy to have Robert on to help discuss some of these finer points of human civilization. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Mitchell. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My pleasure, Robert.
Me too.
To refer to a conversation that we had earlier, Robert, it became obvious that for you to be achieving the kinds of results that you're seeing today in your practice on Madison Avenue, seeing patients from all over, that you've had a very, very rigorous kind of background and discipline. Is that so?
Right.
Of training you got in China. Could you just give us a little bit of an idea of what that's been?
Well, I started to learn Qigong. I met my master when I was nearly 8 years old.
At the ripe old age of 8.
Yeah. Well, I was sick.
You started late.
Yeah, I was sick to start with because it's so I couldn't go to school in the end, so I stayed at home. Supposedly stay at home, okay, but then I just wandered around.
Wandering.
Yeah, wandering around nearby to have good fun. So I observed.
Like you were having it. You were like a wandering 6-year-old monk.
Yeah.
Now that I look back.
Right. I observed more than like 40 kinds of ants, little ants. Some is very big. Some tiny, black, yellow, or some have wings. I was bitten a few times, bleeding with that during those times when I was wild, without people supervising me.
And just
no school. The students, the children with my age, they went to school. Younger ones, they went to kindergarten, and nobody was at home. So I was supposed to stay at home, but as a matter of fact, I was outside all the time.
You were a nature lover and a nature observer.
Oh yes, I love
a natural
that.
Scientist.
Well, you can say that. Yeah.
You know what I'd like to actually do?
Yeah.
I'd like to just fast forward and then we'll go back.
Okay.
But I think it might be interesting for the audience to hear about some of the people, but especially the kinds of issues that people have come to you with and are coming to you with right now in your practice that are getting healed. Because most people think, even to this day where there is a flourishing or at least burgeoning a holistic health field in our midst, at the same time people are still opting for conventional means of medicine
Right.
that involve some very heavy surgery oftentimes.
Yeah.
And if it's not surgery, it's drugs.
Yeah.
These are the treatments of choice.
Right.
And people don't really know the statistics of efficacy of these. And many people are being harmed as a result of these very conventional, not particularly creative, and in some cases not even very scientific modes of treatment. And there's some confusion around this. And you offer an option. And it's called an alternative when actually those should be the last alternatives. And people should attempt to respect and honor the integrity of the human body with all of its organs in place and all of its tissue in place, and then work within that framework sort of energetically the way you do.
Yeah.
So if you wouldn't mind just sharing with us a little bit of some of the issues
work I
that
do,
you've been dealing with people.
Oh yeah. Well, among my patients here in Manhattan, more than half are cancer patients.
All kinds of cancer?
All kinds of cancer.
Especially prostate?
Prostate cancer, we have ovarian cancer, uterus cancer, breast cancer, all kinds, okay? Tumor in the brain. So various cancers. And of course, they come to me, not just my work. They tried all the other work too. Well, to say a typical example, a patient is from Miami, had colon cancer. And last year in March, the doctor said, you can only live for like 3 months. And he is a fighter. He was a fighter. So he got to know me through one of my other patients. And so he visited me. And he learned all the exercise I taught him. And he practiced religiously every single day. And he come to me every month, 3 times in a row, then go back every month 3 times. And he just came 2 weeks ago, and the blood test and everything I said, the doctor says it's not only good, it is perfect. It is perfect. We're all very happy with that. Okay, it's not just the work that we do; it's work from his own effort, practice of Qigong, and also, of course, he still tried many different remedies to heal him. That's the mass work. That's
natural sort or of conventionally medical sort?
Both. Yeah.
Both.
He had both.
So did he have chemotherapy?
He has a chemotherapy from Houston, which is very mild. So the side effect is just a little bit dizzy. So it's not that bad. A lot of people, they can't manage the side effect from the chemotherapies. So I have some patients, they came, at first they're very good, they're fine. But after the beginning of chemotherapy, they get down so badly. And sometimes I just don't see them come back. I don't know what's happening. But I find that chemotherapy in one way is very helpful, but they have to be very strong to fight against this side effect. Yeah. And many
of my poison.
Yeah, it's poisons. So many of my patients, they find, although they have chemotherapy, if they don't have the work from practice of Qigong and treatment, they cannot manage that. They can, or at least they have to
and sometimes they
stop working.
Die.
And sometimes they die. But the work we do on them, they are so strong, not only fighting against the cancers, but also the side effect. Then combining together, I think that's working okay. Or still, I have a lot of patients, they don't go anything. They just do Qigong. It's still very beneficial.
And with some of the cancers that you referred to?
Yeah, it's like the lady who brought me here, whose name is Blake Foster. Actually, she met me in Australia. Then she said, You should go to New York. So she brought me to New York, and she introduced me the patients and students.
Quite recently, actually.
That's a few years ago. We met in 2000,
Okay.
and she had ovarian cancer. 2 years before she met me, and she had a chemotherapy, and she had her hair gone and everything. And when I met her, she's just having her hair growing a little bit furry, and now she was maintaining. The doctor was giving her a long list of drugs. Like if she's taking it each time, it will be the half cups of all the pills and tablets. And then now she's not doing anything of that. She kept Tibetan herbs for about a year or so, 2 years, together with Qigong. And now she even gave off the Qigong, the herbs, because after test they say her bones is getting very well now, because normally after the cancer the bones
are weakened.
And many of them turns to be developed into bone cancer. But her bone, excellent. So now she's connecting the universal energies every single day before she get up. And
one of your Qigong exercises.
Yeah, one of my Qigong exercise, and that's her favorite. And now and then I guide her to do some very powerful meditation. Just at the weekend, in her countryside house in Pleasant Valley, we did some meditation to empower her house. She just bought a new house, renovating. We should make the place powerful too.
Sure.
That's one of the things I teach. Because a lot of people, they just know how to reinforce their own energies. They forget that they have to make themselves connected with the universal energies, or at least with the surroundings. Exactly. So if we know how to empower the energies around us, it is like our own energies is more extended. If you don't feel home in the surroundings, how can you feel comfortable and healthy?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it creates a feedback loop.
That's right.
Does.
Yeah.
Or the Qi field, so to speak,
mm-hmm.
is also empowered to be healing and comes back and circulates.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's why some place, when it is powerful, you go and stay there, you can get healed. Okay, you don't have to do anything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because Qi, they are like magnet. They can affect the others' Qi.
Exactly.
Then when they synchronize, yeah.
Mm. Exactly. Exactly. Now, do you have cases, not to be overly empirical, but do you have cases, Robert, of people who have not done the conventional route of the drug therapies and have come and they have had cancers and other, let's say, degenerative kinds of illnesses, and through your sessions and through Qigong practice, they have regenerated themselves?
Oh yeah, lots. Okay, lots. Because we do have some people. They just want to have natural things. Okay, they don't take anything chemical.
Is there an example that comes to mind of someone?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's one of them. That's when I was in Australia. Okay, so it's very typical ones. He got cancer when he was working and very stressful, very, very stressful. Then one day, she got blind. She couldn't see anything.
He or she?
She,
blind.
Yeah. Then it's diagnosed she has a big tumor in the brain. So there's press.
On the optic nerve.
Yeah, so she couldn't see well for about 20 days. Yeah, and they found out it's cancerous. And she refused. She did yoga before, yeah. She did yoga, she did some healing work herself, but she just couldn't manage herself. Then she went to me, and we worked together for about 2 months' time. Actually, I treated her only for 3 times, and most of the time, she's practicing herself. I taught her a practice called 12 cycle. That is very powerful. She's doing it in a blind way, you know. Yeah, And
so you did some hands-on work with her, essentially a form of acupressure, but a very special kind through your master.
Right.
And you taught her Qigong movements.
Right, and meditations.
Simple movements and meditations.
Very simple, very simple. The Qigong is very easy to start.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to practice for 10 years
Right.
or 2 years to start. You can start right away.
Exactly.
That is the thing where I think is very, very suitable to now, to the age now.
Exactly.
Because when our work is so busy, the life is so busy, you should be able to get introduced. Of course, different people, they have different plans. Some people want to start just be healthy. Some want to have enlightenment. Okay, we provide.
And
this
some
kind of
just
varieties.
to overcome an illness, like we're talking about now.
Yeah. Mm.
So what happened in this situation with her?
Well, in about 2 months, her eyes gradually okay, and just 2 months, she had.
Was it a malignant tumor?
I don't know how to call that. But
it was a tumor.
Yeah, it's a tumor. It's cancerous tumor. That's true. Yeah, because this is very vicious. And then the test found out it disappeared. Then the doctor says, maybe we got a wrong diagnosis. I don't care. What I care is that she's recovered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they must have had a photograph, or an MRI or some.
Yeah. Well, they can
scan.
compare with previous one and
Exactly.
one, and it's very obvious.
So gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
Another
example, any from New York that you have?
From New York, let me see.
Or people in New
Not
York?
cancer, because I just been here for 1 year. Most cancer people, they come to me. They already tried every single things. They tried everything, and desperate they come.
Yes,
so they already tried many things.
But the point is that when they come, they're still suffering from the cancer, or its complications.
Oh yes, they still
the illnesses that come from the chemo or what have you. And then they come to you, and then what has happened?
Well, when they come to me, some of the stage 4, or even more serious is dying. Okay?
Yeah.
And that prolonging their life, they're preparing like
to die.
Yeah, to die. Okay, but I think it's not only the energy, but also the hope. Okay, because when they are try so hard and find this just going down, and then they come and they find the power is really moving something that lighten up the dark room. And when they have this confidence and hope inside, and they manage to practice, to have good wishes, and the result is so different. The result is so different. It's life-saving. Yeah, it's life-saving.
So you have been able, in working with these patients, to help to turn them around.
Oh yes, yeah.
Stage 4 as well.
Yeah, stage 4 as well.
Now, there is an entire background. I mean, this is wonderful, wonderful news for lots of people, needless to say. Yeah. So hope is present for those who decide to partake.
Yeah. So sorry, go ahead.
You have gone through a rather intense process yourself of learning and mastering yourself, if you will, Robert. That has led you to the ability to do what you're doing with others.
Right.
Now, in this short period, we won't be able to go into detail, but could you give us at least a little bit of a sketch, and we'll develop it another time?
You mean how I started?
Yeah.
I would say, I met my master we don't have time to put in there, but it's destiny. Yeah, it's destiny. I got sick, then I went around.
At 8 years old.
Yeah, at 8 years old. Then
playing with ants. Getting hit by ants.
Yeah, because he
was
was
natural scientist on the loose.
Yeah, he was a boiler and a hermit. Nobody knew he's such a high Kung Fu master and Qigong master. Nobody knew that, because it's during Cultural Revolution. We're not allowed to have religious, so he left the monastery.
So this was in the early 70s, late
early
60s,
70s, 1971 or 2, yeah.
Yeah.
So I visited boiler room intending to see the fire because I like to play the fire. That's how we met. And a few months later, my pain in the heart, it disappeared before I noticed. And then he just began to teach me. To start as a martial art. I said, do you want to have martial art? Yes, of course. That's what we dream about at that time too.
Please, Master,
yeah.
please.
Two things, discipline and keep
Discipline.
secret. Discipline. You get up at 5 o'clock every
secret.
morning. Yeah, it's secret because it's not secure if we were discovered by practicing that ancient arts. Because that time it's not allowed.
Exactly.
Well, the policeman will come and arrest him.
Illegal. Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
it's
exactly.
illegal. So I get up every morning at 5 o'clock, then coming back 3 hours after.
As an 8-year-old.
Yeah, there's very that make my parents a bit worried because they didn't know what I was doing. So in the end, my mother said, "What on earth are you doing every day? 3 hours disappeared."
Are you out playing with ants again?
Well, I play in the ants not that time because it's still in the daytime. Right. So I said, I was jogging. I was not telling the truth at the beginning. I feel bad, and I know that it's not convincing her. So I told my master. I said, my parents got worried, and then he said, okay, ask them to come to see me. So they went to his house. Actually, there's a boiler room. His bed is just beside the boiler. And I was kept outside the room for 2 hours, open air. I didn't know what they talked, but when my parents went out, they're happy, excited, also a bit nervous because it will be in big trouble if I was discovered practicing. More for my master for sure, because nobody knew that he was practicing.
The point is that in this boiler room, in your little town, in your province, in your village, you had a realized master of Kung Fu and a Buddhist
Yeah,
monk.
he's a Buddhist monk, high monk.
From a way far away monastery in the mountains
Yeah.
that had to leave because all monks had to disband and leave because of the Cultural Revolution, because no
Right.
religion was
Yeah.
allowed to be practiced.
Yeah, the monastery was closed.
It was closed.
So they were just
exactly.
wandering.
They had to leave.
Yeah.
So he was a wandering monk who found a job in your little town
Yeah.
to operate the boiler room.
That's right.
Completely undercover.
That's
So
true.
here's this like, holy man
Yeah.
with this level of inner mastery
That's right.
operating the boiler room in your town, and that's
Yeah.
how you met him when you were sick.
Oh yes, and he many times I brought the sweet potatoes when we baked it in the boiler. It's beautiful. Yeah, it make my mouth water now. Yeah, of course when he's training me, he's very tough.
Yeah.
It's very. We were like father and sons for the rest of the. But when he's training me, horse stand. Cause horse stand, we have to stand there, bend your knees, stand straight, body straight. It's very hard and lower. 90 degrees, 20 minutes. 3 minutes you will be shaking, sweating, crying.
Burns the
It's like,
thighs.
it's this burning charcoal. Yeah, and shake. And if you just in the wrong position, you start again. So I nearly gave up for the first 2 months. It's so hard. Until one day, I was standing there expecting some terrible things, shaking again. Then all of a sudden, about 10 minutes after beginning to stand, I feel like a pump shooting from the bottom. So I was not standing there anymore. I was like sitting on a stool. So it's so comfortable. Like all of a sudden they put a stool on it. I feel, wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I was in that kind of meditative state. I lost myself. That's Sunday, so I don't care about time. I lost myself. Then when I just like coming back, 4 hours. 4 hours passed. I didn't realize. And it is after that, the whole stand is no longer a torture to me. And it's after that I feel like on my dantian, the lower, below the navel here.
Center.
It's so strong. My master, he kicked my stomach, and boom, it bounced back. It's like a rubber tire after that. And my master said, well, you can, like at this moment, if you take a piece of brick, you can smash it on your head, no problem. So he take a beer bottle, smashed it, break it. No.
He did do that?
Oh yes, easily. Yeah.
But he did do that?
Oh yeah.
On your head?
On my head. And now I'm doing it on my student's head.
Are you right?
I'm going to do it on Rafi's. So it's one of my students. Because I train it. Because after the strengthening of all these energies, the guardian Qi is getting very strong. The guardian Qi, in Chinese medicine, the guardian Qi, one is, actually the guardian Qi is immune system, if we say in Western ways. Mm-hmm. And second, it is protecting to make you the layers of the warmth of the body much thicker. Mm-hmm. So the people with strong guardian Qis, they can stand very hot temperatures or very cold temperatures. Yeah. So you can stand in the ice cage for several hours, 8 hours. Guinness record.
It's a level of self-development that comes as a result, is born out of the discipline of allowing Qi to flow up from the earth into the dantian, through all of the channels of the body, and to have the inner fortitude to allow that circulating to happen even when there's a lot of pain. And then you shift it over to the new consciousness, so to speak, where you were no longer standing, but you were being stood, if you will.
Being stood,
right?
Yes,
You were no longer doing it. It was being done to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the Qi is working on you and you can liberate it.
Exactly. Wow, well you have left us at such a point in the horse position that we will have to have you back, Robert, and to continue this because it's utterly fascinating.
Thank you,
it's
a pleasure.
People want to hear more.
Oh, thank you.
Good, absolutely. 谢谢.
谢谢.
This is Mitchell J. Rabin for A Better World. Is your appetite whetted like mine? Well, you'll come back and watch again another episode of Robert Peng on A Better World. Thanks so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you next week.